Hi, good day everyone. I'm Eileen Naidi Guzman and I'm from BS Cream 1 Alpha. I'm here just to present to you my report, which is the science and technology during American regime and Commonwealth period. Before I start discussing my main topic, I just want to give some introduction on what is science and technology. Many of us thinking what are the real meaning of it and how does science and technology related in the American regime and Commonwealth period. Well, I can show you what is the science and technology before, but now I just want to teach you what is science and technology. Science and technology studies or science, technology, and society studies are the study of how society, politics, and cultures affect scientific research and technological innovation and how this in turn affect society, politics, and culture. This is the meaning of science and technology that I've searched in the Google. Now, let's proceed to the discussion proper. During the American period, this is the time that the public education was supported and extensive. The American was introduced the system as soon as the government was giving them the place, and also the guaranteeing of the scholarship for the higher education in science and engineering. During 1901 to 1907, this is the time that they established a school for public education, and the English was their medium of instruction. They are also setting up normal school and the training of the Filipino teachers. And the Act number 74 is the creation of public instruction in the Philippines. And after that promulgation, it continues to extend the education, the medical school established during 1905, and followed by professional and technical school, and after it was called University of the Philippines. Do you know what is the first colleges opened in the Philippines? The first colleges opened in the Philippines was located at Las Bañas, Laguna on 1909. During 1910, there are 2 or 3 courses at Las Bañas have. It was College of Liberal Arts, College of Engineering, and also College of Veterinary and Medicines. Then year 1911, they have College of Law. On the same year also, the university have 1,400 enrolled students, and year passed by, year 1915, the students increased at the total of 2,398 students enrolled, and also at the same year, the university added the 2 units, which is the School of Pharmacy and a graduate of the Tropical Medicines and Public Health, and followed by the different units. And also during 1910, the American government encouraged Filipinos to get higher professional education and the American colleges. And the Philippine Commission sent 135 boys and girls with higher age for them to have different degrees, which is the teacher, physician, engineer, and the lawyers. And now, let's proceed to the field of the medicine. During the American regime, the Philippines Commission provided a scholarship for the students taking medicines, but they will able to serve it as a position for them to pay their medicine education. They will serve until they paid. In the field of engineering, American found out that there is no Filipino was competent to be an engineer, so that Americans imported some of the engineers to pursue them. Then by the year 1925, out of 190 engineers in the Bureau, the total of Filipino workers are around 174, and the American were only 16 engineers. Based on my own research, that was some of the history during American regime. And now I am proceeding to my topic, which is the science and technology during American regime. During the American regime, do you know who is he? He is Angel Alcala. He discovered of 50 additional species of reptiles and amphibians. To the already known 400 species, he was the first Filipino scientist to produce comprehensive studies on Philippine reptiles and amphibians. Based on my research, he is the first person that appears, so I share it to you for additional knowledge. Now, let's proceed. We are now talking about what are the things that they focuses before. So let us see what are they. First is the food processing. And also we have agriculture, forestry, and medicines, and pharmacies. And the story that I've taught to you a while ago, during American regime, they established education. So the educated persons before, they used them for the production like the medicines and pharmacy and etc. In addition, during the American regime, their focuses on things that are daily needed or the things that are our basic needs. Like what I've said, they are focusing on our basic needs that time. And also, that time they become modernized. Do you know modernize is? It means adapt something to modern needs or habit, typically by installing modern equipment or adopting modern ideas or methods. Look at the picture on my presentation. Do you see a firearms, which is that time they are using those kind of equipment for them to fight in a war. They become modernized that time. A simple example of what are the things that it says that they become modernized. It is the high-tech equipment of students before. They starting having computer, then their shelter is also become modernized, and they started to become a concrete. We have a sculpture and etc. The Filipino before during the American regime is become more productive. And that is the American regime. And now let's proceed to the Commonwealth period. Do you know who is Manuel L. Quezon? He is the first president of the Philippines, and he is a soldier and politician who served as president of the Commonwealth of the Philippines from 1935 to 1944. During the Commonwealth period, Philippines focuses on the economic or the development of economic. On the Article 13, Section 4, the Article 13 is all about human rights. And I will share to you what does the Section 4 says. The state shall below undertake an agrarian reform program founded on the right of farmers and regular farm workers who are landless to own directly or collectively the lands they till, or, in the case of other farm workers, to receive a just share or the fruits thereof. To this end, the state shall encourage and undertake the just distribution of all agricultural lands, subject to such priorities and reasonable retentions limits as the Congress may prescribe, taking into account ecological, developmental, or equity considerations, and subject to the payment of just compensation. In determining retention limits, the state shall respect the right of small landowners. The state shall further provide incentives for voluntary land sharing. During the Commonwealth period, the education is continued to expand, and the number of students was increasing, and also the private school was abolished in year 1932. And in the higher education, the total of the students have 19,575. That is the update in terms of education before. As we can see how fast the growth in terms of education. On the American regime, they are focusing on the basic needs, which is the food processing, agriculture, forestry, pharmacy, and medicines. And now, the Commonwealth period was focusing on the economic and the development of it. Economic is all about demand and supply. On this period, they also started to have economic program like import and export, palitan ng goods sa ibang lugar maging sa ibang bansa. Also, they developed the natural resources. We all know that our country is rich in natural resources, so they use it and develop it for goods. Most likely in local industries like abaca and etc. The Bureau of Science is taking care of animal industry. The animal industry is all the activities in producing animals and their products or benefits to meet the needs of people. And also plants industry is the activity of producing products for the needs of people. And also in the period of Commonwealth, the Philippines started in mining, and the Bureau of Mines takes the leads for the Filipino to work in minings.
Lahat na during the Commonwealth period ay naganap din ng World War II o ang occupation of the Japanese to our country, which is the Philippines. So let's talk about the World War II. Noong panahon na yon, nakipagdigma ang mga Pilipino sa Japanese, ngunit hindi nagwagi ang Japanese sa mga Pilipino. Dahil nga sa kapangyarihan ng mga Amerikano. Dahil naging modernized na ang bansa natin nun. Nagkakaroon na sila ng mga armas na modernized. Tulad na nga lang na sinabi ko kanina, na meron na silang mga firearms na modernized. Tulad na lamang ng canyon o kahit anumang uri ng mga gamit panlaban. So hanggang dito na lang. Sana meron kayong natutunan sa aking binigay na kaalaman. Maraming salamat!